What up, good people? It is Monday night, so you know what that means. That means it is your favorite Monday night sports talk show, and that is Dr. Oui E Talk Sports, where we give you the news and the tips that can make you smarter at the water cooler at work and the best person on your fantasy football team as we start moving into fantasy football, and just the smartest person when you and your friends start arguing sports. So we're going to give you stuff. So grab a pen and a pad, as they used to say in the rap songs. We grab a pen and a pad, and let's get busy. We are going to be talking NFL tonight. Camps begin. The Chiefs and the Cowboys started their camps today because I believe they are in the Hall of Fame game, so they get to start a week early, and then all the other camps start going next week. We've got still got some lingering issues on some of the teams. We'll talk about a little bit. We're also going to talk about Cam Newton has found another way to to stay relevant and keep himself in the spotlight through his podcast. And so we're going to talk a little bit about his comments and were they accurate, were they over the top, or were they? I have a feeling where my co-host is going to land on this, but we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the WNBA. It's time for collective bargaining in the WNBA, and they all wore shirts that say "Pay us what you owe us" at the All-Star game, which was a fabulous game, by the way. It's reminiscent of the NBA All-Star game minus the dunks, but we'll talk about a little bit, about collective bargaining in the WNBA and where it is. And really, we'll give our 3 cents on how they should be approaching these negotiations and the revenue sharing situation. So we're going to talk about all that and more, but I'm not here by myself, as you know. It is my co-host, and that is Dr. Whit Brown. What's going on, Doc?
Nothing. How you doing, Alice?
I'm good. Glad to be back here talking sports as we get through the dog days of summer. I mean, it was bad when I was watching Wimbledon.
Well, some people like tennis. Like I have friends who stay up all night watching tennis.
But I'm not finna watch. Like, look, I was like a
going on.
So I need some sports, Jesus. After NBA season, I have been struggling. So, okay, right out the gate, let's talk about your boy. So, let me give the context for those, and if you're just joining us, drop your name and where you're watching from, or any questions you may have in the comments. We'd love to answer those questions and hear what you've got to say as well. So, about a week or so ago, on Get Up, Jeremy Fowler came in, dropped top 10. He polled NFL execs and coaches, about 50 of them, and they said they named their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. The top 4 are your usual top 4: Mahomes, Lamar Jackson,
Josh,
Allen, and
Burrow.
Right? Top 4 is top 4.
The AFC people.
Yeah, and then they put, they've got your boy at Washington, Jalen Daniels. After 1 year, they have him at like 7 or 8. They had, of course, Justin Herbert. He's still, gaining off of his potential. They had Matthew Stafford. It's kind of like a longevity award, but he is a good quarterback. He's still great.
Still good. Yeah.
I'm joking. And then they had the Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts, at number 9. And that was the topic of discussion. Should Jalen Hurts be number 9? Then fast forward to here recently. So that was a big discussion when they dropped that list. And should Jalen Hurts be too low, blah, blah, blah. Then recently, it may have been yesterday or this weekend when Cam Newton did his podcast.
I think it was Friday. He did a podcast, but they've been talking about all day.
Talked about Jalen Hurts through the lens of it's the team and not him. They're not asking him to win games. They're asking him not to lose games. And he went on this kind of rant about how Jalen Hurts should be 9 or even lower than 9 because of the fact that he's got 2 great receivers, a good tight end.
O-line. We've got a lot.
Best running back in the game.
O-line.
He definitely has the best offensive line, and he's got a defense that's going to get him the ball back, so they don't have any pressure to score a lot of points. And so all of those factors are true.
But
what did you think? I'm going to hold my opinion. What do you think about what Cam Newton had to say about your quarterback? I know you're a big Eagles fan.
I thought it was over the top, and I love Ryan Clark's take on it. Anyway, Jalen does what he needs to do to win a game. If you actually watch the Eagles and follow the Eagles, when Jalen's out, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different game. He might not have stats like Herbert or whatever, but does Herbert win? Has he won a playoff game? No. Jalen wins. He's been to the Super Bowl twice. He outplayed Patrick in both of them. He was the MVP. He can throw. He can run. He can push. I mean, he might not have the best hand compared to the other four, but who got a ring? And who been to the Super Bowl twice?
Well, only one of those top four have a ring.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. If we compared him to Mahomes, which is basically the best quarterback now, he's played in the Super Bowl with him twice and played better than him twice, even though we lost the first one. He actually played better than Mahomes when we lost the first time.
He had better overall stats, but I think some of the stats were a bit misleading because Mahomes had a better QBR.
But if you actually looked at the game,
if you're watching the game, yes, the eyeball test said Jalen Hurts was the best player on that field that day, and minus that one mistake,
the fumble,
scoop and score, that changed the game. And some will say they changed the game, and then them not making adjustments at a halftime on defense.
That was the defense. Yes,
that was the defense. Because they didn't make any adjustments, and the Chiefs did, and it cost them. So, okay. So I have two takes on it, and they might be a bit contradictory. The first one is, number one is, I got two words, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was a quarterback on a team that had a great defense, two great receivers, Ayuk, Debo, a great running back, Christian McCaffrey, and he was what Cam Newton says Jalen Hurts is, a game manager. All he had to do was just put the ball where it's supposed to be, don't mess it up. And he didn't win the game, right? He got them to the playoffs, and he got hurt, so we can't say he would not have won that game against the Eagles. We never know.
But they didn't have a quarterback.
Brock Purdy drops off significantly.
Without his weapons.
Without all his weapons. What I see is Jalen Hurts is not Brock Purdy.
No.
Jalen Hurts has a higher floor than Brock Purdy. So when Brock Purdy doesn't have Debo and Brandon Ayuk and
Jalen Hurts can win a game a number of ways.
Jalen Hurts can run the ball better than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy can't run. He runs a little bit. I tell you about, he can run a little bit, but he's not Jalen Hurts when it comes to running with the ball. Jalen Hurts, I think what people, and the mistake that people make a lot of times in the NFL is, particularly the analysts, is they hold on to their original opinion because they don't want to be wrong.
They don't want to be wrong.
So Jalen Hurts was a second round pick. Jalen Hurts was a quarterback that they label as inaccurate. Jalen Hurts was the guy that got
he got benched for
Tua at Alabama, and then he had to transfer to Oklahoma, and he had a great year at Oklahoma. Became I think it was a Heisman finalist that year. But he's like they were seeing him, the scouts and everybody and all the pundits, as a backup, a good backup.
Yeah, they did initially. Yes.
Everybody saying, he should go to the Ravens because he'd be a good foil to Lamar Jackson. He'd be a good backup for Lamar Jackson because they have similar styles in terms of their style.
Yeah. But
what that does, it reduces the man to what you see, not what's in his head and not what's in his heart. So he came into the league his first year, he completed 52% of his passes. That's not good. For those that don't know, that's not really good statistic in terms of completion percentage. This last year, he was at 68%. This last year, he was one of the better, if not the best quarterback from the pocket in terms of being able to make his throws, hit his receivers on time. Now, That's how I feel about Jalen Hurts. He has put in the work. He has not been pushing back on the media.
No,
He has
he's a great
perfect at the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
He has been damn near perfect off the field. If there's anything that he's got anything that's wrong, he's hiding it well because I even like his fiance. She's fantastic too.
Well, they're married now.
They're married now. Okay, his wife. I'm sorry. His wife now. They both they got 2 little perfect kids. Okay, so all of that. That's how I feel about Jalen Hurts. At the same time, there is the reason why people are making this argument about him being a game manager is he was struggling games 1 through 7 last year till the bye week. Right, he was up and down. His completion percentage wasn't that high. They were struggling. I put some of that on Kellen Moore with the plays that he was calling.
He's had 4 different offensive coordinators.
I put a lot of that on Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore wanted
we're gonna have a new one this year too.
Kellen Moore wasn't maximizing his assets, and then the bye week came, and then they realized, oh, we should lead with the run. Saquon takes off. He has a 2,000-yard season. Jalen is a great complementary quarterback. He was not throwing for an exorbitant amount of yards. I think he was 200, 212, 220, just enough to keep teams honest. But they were winning games, and they were winning games comfortably. It wasn't, and the defense was allowed to go in there and be the dogs that they are. So people use that.
And people talk, but then and after that game, he threw, I forget what the stats were, but the game where they were talking about and AJ Brown was reading the book and all this stuff. He threw the next game, he went on with his hand and look at the Super Bowl. He was the Super Bowl MVP, and it wasn't close.
He threw for like 300 something yards in that game, and he the most time I've ever seen him bucket the media, he said, "Is that what y'all wanted?" Right after because it was a game against the Saints that they won, but he had a really bad game, passing wise. They won the game. And then they were all of them. AJ Brown was being AJ Brown on the sideline and in the media. He kind of threw him under the bus with some shade.
I don't think he meant to, but anyway.
Yeah, but the media is going to take any little thing and run with it. And he knows that. He's been in the league long enough to know that. So I put that on AJ. Jalen, of course, handled it like a professional, like you would expect him to handle it. And he came back and said, and had a great game. So, yeah, my man Flake says Saquon forces defenses to play the run. And that's the argument against Jalen, right? Because he's got the best offensive line in the league. He's got the best running back behind him.
He does.
I'll take him.
And we got the best GM in the league too.
You got the best GM. You've got an all-pro wide receiver, and Devontae is not a slouch. No. And then you've got a great tight end. So
Dallas. Thank you.
Dallas Goedert is like the team is put together so well that I think what people want to do is give.
But why they hate Burrow has 2 of the best wide receivers in the league. Don't nobody when he has all his stats. Don't nobody be like, oh, but he has 2 great wide receivers. Would he be the same if he had 2 different?
No, he wouldn't. Now, Burrow. What I like about Burrow is he puts the ball where it should go 95% of the time. Like Mahomes doesn't do it that much. Mahomes makes some miraculous plays, so he covers up when he makes a mistake. Burrow, you have to go get Burrow. Like you can't if you give Burrow time, he's going to wear you out. He's going to wear you out. I mean, any good quarterback, you give him time to wear you out. But Burrow is surgical with this. And Burrow should have won the MVP if he had a defense worth a damn.
They do great just because he beat Patrick once.
Yeah, he beat him once.
He kept him from going to the Super Bowl once. But what's up with Justin Herbert? Justin Herbert has potential. What else does he have?
Now,
right now,
that's the one they judge on a curve. And I still think Justin Herbert is everything they want him to be the next great thing. They want him to be Josh Allen, and they wanted Trevor Lawrence to be Josh Allen, and it didn't work out. They want Herbert to be Josh Allen, and We'll see what he does with Harbaugh.
I think he would be better with Harbaugh, but he's not going to be the golden child, I don't think, anytime soon. But I might be wrong.
I don't. The only thing I felt, the only time in that ranking, the only time I felt Jalen was disrespected was when they put the rookie in front of him,
Daniels. But see, Daniels is good, but you can't really judge him off 1 year, though.
Yeah, yes. He had a fantastic year. Don't get me wrong. Like, Jaden Daniels is everything I expected him to be and more. But when you think about the context and you start looking at the minutia, like if you look at the macro, if you just look at the fours, you like, Jaden Daniels had an amazing season, greatest rookie season of all time. He's a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
But then you look at how many fourth quarter comebacks did they have to do? How many games did they win on the last second?
Hail Mary.
If those games don't go that way, is he that great? If he loses those games, like in this year, you can't expect him to have I think they had 6 or 7 wins last year in the fourth quarter as a comeback, as a last drive comeback, or a Hail Mary type situation, or a walk-off field goal that he led the drive. So those are great moments. But if he loses those games, is he that great? Like the same thing with the Chiefs. The Chiefs went 15-2, but how many of those games were last minute?
Really close.
A toe on the back of the end zone against the Ravens, pass interference call against the Bengals. Like we can name.
The field goal. I forget who was it. Who were they playing? I forget.
I think Cleveland. Somebody made them
might have been
a mistake, and they kicked the field goal. So when you go into the minutia, when you start looking at game to game, you go, they weren't a 15-win team. Just like Jaden Daniels was great. Don't get me wrong. But if those games go the other way, are we talking about him the same way?
No, because he wouldn't have made it.
And those are the things that we have to really, when we break these things down, and this is where you have those water cooler moments when you're talking to your friends, and it's like, we really got to look at this a little bit more critically and not just look at the macro, right? And fantasy football has us looking at the macro. What was his numbers? Let's look at how the game. That's why I watch the games, because the games don't lie. Like the stats can lie, you can manipulate stats.
Yeah, look at Joe. Look at Joe. Because in order for them to win, they got to score 10 million points.
Oh yeah, the Bengals got to score 35 just to be in the game.
We won 15 games. They were close. That's the point.
No. Flakes, I am of the Bill Parcells school. You are what your record.
Yeah, but they were close. Right? They were close. Even though the record was great.
Now the games that they won outright, I thought they had the best game plan I saw all season against the Bills. They went into Buffalo and beat the Bills. And people say, "Oh, Buffalo, they've got their number." They were shook. They went in and beat the Bills. They controlled and owned that game. They're a veteran team that I think everybody's writing them off because it's sexy right now to write off the Chiefs. Right? It's in vogue. Oh, Denver's hot, and what Harbaugh's got another year with Herbert. Everybody's sexy. Oh, and they're even trying to pump up the Raiders. Oh, they got a veteran Super Bowl winning coach and Geno Smith. Geno Smith? Really? Geno Smith. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes on that.
They're just it's I would call it hate fatigue. People are tired of fatigue.
I mean, the same thing happens to the Patriots. People got Patriots.
People hated the Patriots. I think I don't think people hate the Chiefs as much. I think they're more tired.
No, because they have likable players, right? And I don't want to say likable players. They like the coach too. Bill Belichick was
everybody like Andy,
and he got caught cheating twice.
Everybody like Andy.
The Flakegate and the Spygate. So, I have my own opinion about Bill Belichick. I don't think he's a good coach. People call him the greatest coach of all time. I think he is. What is his record without Tom Brady?
True.
And so, there was a stat. I'm gonna show it because I even saved this on my. I saved this on my. Okay, so they talked about how Mike Tomlin's record without Big Ben is 19, 19, and 1.
Mm-hmm.
And people are saying he needs to be fired. He's terrible coach, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Bill Belichick without Brady, 73 and 82. losing record. Pete Carroll without Russell Wilson, 50-54, losing record. Harbaugh without Flacco, that's John Harbaugh, without Flacco or Lamar Jackson, 4-9, losing record. Sean Payton without Breeze, 17-12. He's the only one on this list that has a winning record
so far.
Joe Walsh, the great Joe Walsh, without Montana, 13-21-1.
That's interesting.
Chuck Noll without Bradshaw, 86-97-1, losing record. And the point is, maybe having a good QB is important.
Definitely.
So when we're talking about now, Andy Reid has a winning record, I believe, without Patrick Mahomes.
But it's a lot better. It's a lot better. He had some losing seasons in Philly, which is why he got fired.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is taken to the point where they went to like how many 3 straight Super Bowls? Like that's a different stratosphere, and won 2 of them, right? Won back-to-back Super Bowls. That's a different stratosphere. When you get that quarterback, Andy Reid, but that proves my point. Andy Reid was already a good coach.
Yeah, he was a great coach.
You give him a great quarterback, and he goes from good to great in terms of, we're going to the Super Bowl, and everybody they just pencil the Chiefs into the Super Bowl every year because now he's got that quarterback that he can do other things with. So if the Chiefs' offensive line,
if they are improved,
they will still be a force to reckon with, and they'll be going for their 10th in a row in terms of the AFC West.
AFC, yeah.
And I'm like, calm down. Like y'all pump the brakes on the Chiefs hate. With what I love about the Eagles, and I'll say this about your team. What I love about the Eagles is the leader, and that is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is not going to run around showing everybody his ring.
No, he didn't put it on.
Jalen Hurts, he didn't put it on.
He didn't put it on. Looked in the case.
He remembers what it's like to lose a Super Bowl.
He saved the confetti. The little picture from the confetti when they lost.
Jalen Hurts is he's worried about this season. He's not worried about none of these other seasons. He's not.
Coach is the same thing too. Because he said the celebration is over. Well, they just got their rings, but the celebration is over. It's time to put in work for this season.
What I want them to be prepared for is, and they're going to get everybody's best shot because everybody wants to say they beat the Super Bowl champ. Everybody's want to say that. So every week is the NFC Championship game. Every week's going to feel like a playoff game because the crowd's going to be hyped up because the Eagles are coming to town when they're on the road. Your fans are going to have an expectation that they're going to blow teams out because of the Super Bowl champion, and they blew out Patrick Mahomes. Why can't they blow out everybody they play? Right? You know
that's unrealistic. But yes, some people are there. Yeah.
But fans are
some fans are rational. Yeah, I know. I'll be on Facebook and I'm in the groups, but yes.
Fans are unreasonable, and your fans, Eagles fans are some of the toughest in the
NFL. Over the top. It's all good. We love our team though.
So we gotta. I do think, and Mike Greenberg on the show put his 5 teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that he thought was going to make it this year.
Yeah.
He had my Falcons in there, and I agree with that. He also had the Cowboys, and I'm like, they might even though the Cowboys,
no injuries,
if Dak is upright, they should make they're going to win games. I'm not worried about the Cowboys in the regular season. It's the playoffs for the Cowboys that they
choke,
that they fold like a chair at the family reunion. Okay. They let Green Bay come in there with a quarterback in his first year starting.
That was the best game ever. Best game ever. That was the best game ever.
Beat the star off their helmet. Okay. You cannot let that happen.
Well, I don't think it's I wonder what difference there'll be with Shotty versus.
It's not because the owner and the GM are still the same.
I'm just wondering how their game is going to be different. Are they going to run the ball more? They'll do that. Who's their running back?
They're going to have that running back by committee. They from what I understand, they drafted a kid that was underrated. It's good, but There's going to be running back. It's going to be, can that line keep Dak upright? It looks like George Pickens is going to be on his best behavior this year because it's a contract year. So, guys always toe the rock when they're toe the line when they're trying to get that check. And he knows that Jerry Jones is good for paying. So
the last minute, but he will pay you.
He will pay. So he's like, ooh, if I stay here and if I act right and if I, kiss the ring of Jerry Jones, I will get my check. And so George Pickens should have a good year. We know CD's already got his money.
Mike needs to get his.
The problem is that the culture in Dallas is it's about the show and not about the substance. And they got away from the substance and got more about the show. And so they when they get into the playoffs, it's about substance. Can you rally as a team? And Jerry does so much finger pointing that the team has kind of taken that. And so they, that eyes got too big. Nobody was able to step up and rally that team. They were ready to finger point and start calling their travel agent when Green Bay was putting it on them at home instead of somebody saying, we're not going to let this happen at home.
Well,
somebody got to say that.
But who's the leader of who's the leader?
It's Jerry Jones, and that's the problem. Jerry Jones is chasing a dragon that he can't kill. And that is Jimmy Johnson won him his Super Bowls. He didn't. And he's trying to win it himself, and he can't do it. Because he's not a good leader. He's a fantastic businessman, but that's
he is great.
A good leader.
And they already talk about him, the Cowboys, whether they suck or if they're winning. It bothers me as a spectator of these talk shows.
What's going to be the interesting thing is because there's been like a 21-year streak of no repeat champion in the NFC East, right? It's one of the most unusual and incredulous stats in the NFL. In 21 seasons, there has not been a repeat champion of the NFC East.
Which is crazy. I know we should have.
Will it happen this year? Will it happen this year?
Who knows? Any given Sunday. But I think it'll be the Washington over the Cowboys. If that's the case. If it's not us. I don't think it's going to be them. But I might be wrong.
I'm struggling because I as much as I love and respect and hope Jaden Daniels has a wonderful career, Dan Quinn.
You just don't trust him. See, I think Daniels is going to be as good, but I don't think the record is going to be as good because it's a team sport. But I think he's not going to have the sophomore slump. But I don't think the team is going to be as good. That's just what I get, my guesstimation there.
But that's one of the issues. They got to sign Terry McLaurin. They were giving out money. They were trading for Jeremy Tunsil, and they got Deebo Samuel, but they won't pay their man that's in-house that's been a great citizen, and not only a great citizen, a great player. What message are they sending? What are they doing in Washington? What are they doing? Terry McLaurin should have been number one, and he was your number one receiver for your second-year quarterback, your sophomore quarterback.
He was.
He was a number one target. He's one of the best in terms of catching the ball in traffic.
Yeah.
Covered. Doesn't get hurt. Doesn't have any problems off the field. Doesn't rather. Cut the man his check. Quit playing with him. DC, I don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand. You brought in Deebo Samuel who got beat up under Shanahan's system, but you won't pay your man that's been giving was with you when y'all was terrible? Bus stop. Better break bread. Let me be his agent. I'll walk in there with some flip-flops on to negotiation and a Bermuda shorts and a tank top. Bro, quit playing with my man and
pay him his money. Well,
quit playing with Terry McLaurin. Why are you even putting him through this stress? We're getting close on. We got a week before camp, and he's not signed. So you're gonna have them do a hold in, so everybody's gonna be practicing, looking over their shoulder, like, why isn't
he holding out?
Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that when you're trying to make another run?
Potentially could be Super Bowl because y'all made it to the NFC Championship. Shoot. Although, what would be a good season for them compared to last year? Because I don't think they're gonna make it back to the NFC Championship. But I might be wrong.
I don't know. The path might be clear this year because nobody knows. Like everybody just expects Detroit to get back there. I think that's one of the expectations because they have a good roster.
They do, but they got two new coordinators, and I believe one of the players got hurt during last week.
Yes, and they've already lost a starter.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't pencil them in. I don't know what I'm going to get from Jordan Love because of last year. He's good for throwing pick six. So even though that division got 3 teams in the playoffs last year, and you got a new quarterback in Minnesota. So that division put 3 teams in the playoffs last year, might only get 1 this year. I'm hoping my Falcons is 1.
Maybe. San Francisco, will they be back?
Will San Francisco be? They just paid Brock Purdy, so now they're going to have to cut some salaries. They paid Brock Purdy. They thought Brock Purdy's that dude. Bilbo Baggins is now their quarterback. Frodo is their quarterback now. So they got to figure out how to build a team around him with cheaper players that can give the same production so he doesn't have to try to win games.
With the Rams?
That's the guy Cam Newton should be talking about.
The Rams?
That's the guy Cam Newton should be talking about. Brock Purdy being a game manager.
He's called him a game manager before on the podcast, though.
Jalen Hurts. I don't think you can call him a game manager. No. He's a point guard. Sometimes he's the point guard for a basketball team, a good basketball team. He gets everybody else involved, and sometimes when you get everybody else involved, your points aren't your points.
Yeah, and he don't care. He don't care. He's all about winning the W. He don't care how it's done. He can push the whole freaking 100 yards. He wouldn't care. He all about winning.
And the only thing I would say if I was his agent, anybody around the court, he's not going to say it, is when you address him, please address him as Super Bowl champion, Jalen Hurts. Whenever you write your article, please put Super Bowl MVP.
MVP, yeah, not even champion. MVP, Jalen Hurts.
As Birdman said, put some respect on his name. Okay? He won that Super Bowl.
He did.
The Eagles won that Super Bowl. He wasn't even close.
It wasn't either, because them points at the end.
I was an execution. Oh my God. We stopped watching it. What you mean? When I looked at the final score the next day, I was like, oh, the Chiefs scored.
Well, hey, I was there taking it all in.
Boy, that was garbage time. What you mean? That was respected. That was like, oh, we're gonna make it close. That was for the gamblers. The over-under. That was for the over-under points. That wasn't for the outcome. What you mean? That game was over with. In the second quarter. I can tell you the sequence if you want to know, but in the second quarter, the game was over with. I stopped watching it. I started drinking.
Well, I wasn't. Now, my nerves bad. I was like, until the end.
You were there, so you had to watch it. Like you were in.
Well, I had to. I had to take it all in.
You had to watch it. I was
to get every penny worth I spent on the ticket. So.
Yes, but we're at the Super Bowl party.
If I was at home, I still would have watched the whole thing.
Shout out to Rob Hardy and his family for opening up their home, having a Super Bowl party there. And they brought in snacks from Philly. They had them flown in, so we really got the Philly experience there. Oh. But it was like, I had one eye on the game, but I instinctively knew the game was over. Games are won in the trenches, and you have a quarterback. If you can protect your quarterback, you got a good quarterback. I think the better game, honestly, would have been the Ravens and the Eagles.
The Ravens.
The better game.
Probably been closer. Would
have been the Ravens and the Eagles.
I would agree. Hopefully, the Ravens will make it next year.
Because the Chiefs had been playing was fired the whole season, and that offensive line was
And they got burned.
bad by the time they got to
Bad.
the Super Bowl. It was bad by the time they
Bad.
got to the Super Bowl. And then you go up against a defensive front like the Eagles, and then when they started getting some success, and they realized that they were letting them play, because I saw a lot of holding that wasn't getting called on both sides. I'm not just saying. So when they were letting them play, I was like, bruh, it's not gonna be pretty, because them two fat boys in the center of that defensive line they're nothing to play with. They're nothing to play with. They were getting double teamed, so and then the linebackers played well. Everybody was running free. Linebackers were playing clean. Nobody could get to the second level. I'm using football terminology. I'm gonna bring it back down. But I'm watching it and I'm standing there with the friend of mine, Itasha's husband.
My line sister.
Yes. So, and he played college ball. So like we both standing there watching the game, and we were both like, yeah, this is kind of like, we're looking at each other like, because we could see what was happening on the field, and it was like, yeah, it's not going to end well for the Chiefs. And I was just like, I didn't want for Patrick Mahomes, because I'm a fan, is for him to be embarrassed, and he got embarrassed a little.
Oh, he did. I liked it though.
Yeah, I know you did. You're an Eagles fan, so like you loved everything about that game. But I was like, because I know what the pundits are going to do.
I sure did.
But he's got to figure out how to respond.
Well, they didn't have nothing for us that day.
So before we shift to let's go around the league. What do you think now that Aaron Rodgers has signed, Aaron has signed? What do you think the prospects are for the Steelers? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs, or do you think
I think they will. I think they if he stays healthy, I think they'll make the playoffs and may win one game. If they can make the playoffs without Aaron, I think they can at least make the playoffs and win one game with him if he stays healthy.
So they haven't really fully addressed the offensive line.
Oh. No, they haven't.
They lost their number one running back. They drafted one, but they lost their number one running back, and they lost their playmaking wide receiver. They brought in DK Metcalf, overpaid for DK Metcalf in draft picks, and they overpaid him in terms of his contract. I think they gave him like $30 million per. So you think DK Metcalf, a couple of good tight ends, and running back by committee on an offensive line that hasn't been great, you think that's, and a defense that's getting long in the tooth, do you think that's enough to get them to 9-8?
I think so. If they can make it with Mason and Mitch, I think they can make the playoffs. The if is will they win a game. See, for them to get Aaron, they need to win a game for this to be a successful season, in my opinion. At least win a playoff game. Make it and win one game. Because he hadn't won a game since what, 17, 16?
And neither has Tomlin. And so I'm both of them have a monkey to get up their back, because Tomlin, even in last year when they made the playoffs, I don't know what game he was coaching. Like, this is a playoffs, man. This is win or go home. Why are you punting on 4th and 1? Like, you've got to roll the dice sometimes. You can't play it like it's a regular season game, when he did, and especially with a quarterback that's not worth a damn. And Russell Wilson was falling off by the time they got to everybody had figured him out. There's like clog his passing lanes because he can't see, and he's gonna hold on to the ball, and then they're gonna sack him. And that's what happened. If people realize that what was going on with Russell Wilson, probably after about his 4th game, his effectiveness went down, because they're like, oh, you just do this, and
and their schedule got harder too.
And the schedule got harder, right? And so he beat the bums, which he's supposed to do. As I tell my son all the time he's playing, any sport he's playing, what do you do to bums? If I ask him right now, he said, you beat bums. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat bums. And they did that. And then when they got against the real teams, they got exposed. And I love Tomlin as a person. I think he is great for the NFL, and I think he's a Hall of Fame coach. But I think the message is it gets stale about midway through the season, and they realize they don't have the people, they don't have the bodies, they don't have the talent to match up with the better teams in the NFL. So if Joe Burrow, if the Bengals has half a defense, the Bengals will be better.
If they have
Half a defense. And if the Browns just say, you know what, we're going to play Shador, I think they'll be better because
they will be better.
They'll have a quarterback that's not a liability. And until, but I think they're gonna play Flacco at first, and he's gonna get beat up, and then they'll finally put Shador in, and then they'll figure it out. But I think Shador is the best option.
Well, I agree too. I think so too. But do you think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs? You
No.
think Tomlin is going to have 500 season?
I unfortunately, if I had to put money on it, I would put money on this will be Tomlin's first losing season. I'm saying 7-9. What did they play? 17 games? Sorry,
17. So
7-10. And it won't because Aaron Rodgers played poorly. I just think that they just don't have enough playmakers and Aaron Rodgers is not the Aaron Rodgers of old where he can make plays happen when they break down because he doesn't have the legs anymore. The arm is still there. And he has a knowledge of the game that I can only dream about having because he's seen it all and he's been on the field when it's happening.
You don't like
but in terms of, as someone that has, when your body can't do what your mind thinks it can do, that is a sobering feeling. And most athletes don't realize that until it's too late.
That's true.
And so in his mind, he's going to be like, ooh, he's going to see that gap. And he's like, I can get there. And he can't get there. And he's going to be like, what happened? These dudes are faster. That dude is 23 years old. He's going to get there quicker than you. Okay. He going to get there quicker than you at 42. Okay. He's going to get there.
I walked up. Well, see, maybe I'm biased because, I have a special place in my heart for the Steelers because half of my family are Steelers fan. So I want them to win. Then I love Tomlin. I could care less about A-Rod, but I love Tomlin.
Oh, I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I think I can go a whole show talking about how I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I like Tomlin enough to where I'm okay with Aaron Rodgers being on the team. And it's going to be disappointing because the expectations are high, but I think the results are going to be low.
Yeah, they need to win a playoff. That's what they need for it to be a success. They need to win a playoff game for the Aaron Rodgers experiment to be a success.
I think the best thing for the Steelers to do
is to lose and to get a
good
draft pick. Get Archie Manning.
You know what? The funny thing is I'm looking at everybody talking about how great this quarterback crop is, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like,
you don't think so? But you don't know till they play, of course, and then knock on wood, injuries.
Here's the thing about quarterbacks, and this is one of them times where I tell people, get your pen and your pad, write this down. I'm about to give you a gem. Here's the thing about quarterbacks. I need you to do one thing exceptionally well if I'm going to draft you in the top of the first round. I need to have something. Josh Allen was the biggest, strongest, fastest person. His accuracy was terrible. But that arm, he could throw it through a car wash and not get one.
And he's basically a freaking tight end because he's just like, boom.
Okay. So if he figured out how to play quarterback, and he did, this is what you get, MVP.
And he got better with Dayball, coaching matters.
Dayball, and now and Dayball left, and he wins the MVP because he has figured out how to play quarterback, right? And they have figured out how to call plays for him. Lamar Jackson was a freak of nature. He was the best athlete on every field he stepped on.
And he's good in the pocket.
And then he figured out how to play from the pocket and became even better and won 2 MVPs. You've got Joe Burrow as one of the best processors, accurate, deadly, like cool Joe. I've never seen him rattled.
No, he never did. And then, especially when he first got there in the offensive line, he was getting knocked down. He was like, to get back up and like, okay, next play.
Even when they were playing in that Super Bowl against the Rams, I'm like, he might mess around and win this game, and they were by far the inferior team. But he was just so good, and the Rams were like, they were looking at each other, and finally Aaron Donald had to become Superman and make a couple of plays to end the game. But they're like, this dude is not going, and he won't go away. So, and every quarterback, when you say, okay, what is his like trait that he has, the great ones, like Matthew Stafford, his arm is phenomenal. He can hit a gnat's booty from 30 yards away, right? So all of them have. But when I look at this crop of college quarterbacks, what do any of them do exceptionally well? Arch Manning is the one that has the most potential because he can run and he can throw a good deep ball.
And then Texas has a lot of money, so they got to play.
A lot of money, but he might be a product of the fact that he's playing on the best team, like Alabama and all those.
Which a lot of SEC teams do. Like Alabama hadn't had great quarterbacks, but they always been winning over the years. They haven't. Typically, they don't have the best quarterbacks.
They've got 5 stars all around them, and they had just better players than everybody else. But I think Jalen Milroe was the first time you go, when they need a quarterback to play, he had some bad games, and that cost him, right?
Well, I think some of that had to do with coaching too.
So I think that's what I'm like. I'm not as crazy about this. Nussmeier out of LSU, that dude is a top draft pick. Mm-hmm. The dude at Clemson, that dude.
Yeah, we're talking about the Clemson LSU game today.
That dude, the brother at South Carolina. I watched him play the last couple games of the season. He may not have any, like maybe it's the talent around him because South Carolina doesn't have as much talent as LSU or Alabama. There were some drop passes, but he was a one-read quarterback, and if the guy that he was reading wasn't open, he was chucking and running. So I didn't see the only person, and I don't have enough on Arch Manning to make a decision because he played bums when he got in.
Well, yeah, he got so you're not gonna know till this year.
This year is gonna be the one.
So yeah,
I think they play Georgia this year.
Like the LSU Clemson game gonna take your life right there. The opening.
Oh, he's gonna take it. But Cade Klubnik, that's his name at Clemson. And I'm going to be silently pulling for Clemson for 2 reasons. One, my daughter's there at grad school, and 2, one of the kids I coached is now there on the team as a freshman. And,
what
and he'll probably get on the field. And I don't know if you saw the videos going around. Brandon Jacobs' son, Braden Jacobs, is now at Clemson as an offensive lineman. And when I tell you that's the largest human being I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Him and Shaq are the 2 largest I've seen in person. Braden is 6'8", 330 pounds. And it's like if a refrigerator grew some legs and walked into a room. That's what it looks like. It is. They're big people, and I was saying this to my son. We went to the movies. We went to go see Superman recently. There was a guy that worked at the movie theater. He was a big dude. He was about 6'3", 6'4", about 270. He was 260, 270. He was a big kid. You knew he played football at some point. And he's probably a summer job working at a movie theater. And I said, that kid is big. And I said, Braden makes that kid look small. He's like, yeah. I said, and people would describe that kid as big.
Braden, okay. Jacob.
Braden Jacobs. So he plays tackle. He may play guard this year so he can get on the field, and then they'll kick him out to tackle. But he was the left tackle for Milton here in Atlanta, and they won back-to-back state championships with him at left tackle. So he's the real deal. Good bloodline. Brandon always had him prepared to play. He liked Clemson. I was curious as why he chose Clemson, but he liked the coaches, and so he chose Clemson.
They should win the ACC.
It wasn't Dabo. It's the position.
Who else is in the ACC?
It's the position coach. Like those are the things that like people don't realize about recruiting. They think they think the kid falls in love with the head coach.
Head coach, not necessarily.
It's the position coach that they really fall in love with, right? It's the position coach and the opportunity, right? So you can say, okay, how quickly can I get on the field? Who is in front of me? And I think.
And then can I make it to the NFL for the people?
Can I make it to the NFL from this spot?
Yeah.
Justin Fields is a classic example. When he chose to go to Georgia, everybody was like, why is he choosing to go to Georgia? Kirby Smart does not like that kind of quarterback. And he had two guys in front of him that Kirby Smart liked better. You're not going to get on the field. I don't care how
He was
good
great at Ohio.
He was great at Ohio State, yes, because he went to a place where the coach believed in him, and he decommitted from Penn State to choose Georgia. He had committed to Penn State, decommitted, chose Georgia, goes there for a year, realized, hey, I'm not going to get on the field, transfers to Ohio State, and the rest is history. And it got him a top draft pick. NFL career is where you land.
Well, see, yeah, who knows? If he would have got drafted by somebody else, would his career look different today? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Your career is driven by where you go. You went to the Bears that has a history of having of doing terrible
running quarterbacks. Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
So how you think the Bears are going to be this year with Caleb and the new coach?
I think the Bears are going to be sneaky good this year.
They're going to be what ranking, like as far as their division?
Caleb.
They're going to be better than the
makes the layup.
Detroit. You think they're going to be better than Detroit? They're going to be better than the Vikings?
They can be if Caleb makes the layups. And I'm saying you've got to play on time. Mm-hmm. Caleb holds on to the ball. He's like
too long,
he holds on to the ball too long, and he's trying to make this spectacular play.
He is, but he needs to learn how to do. He needs to do the basic stuff. Yeah, you're right. Which coaching should help him with that.
Go to the running back. You got Swift that's really good on screen passes.
Yes.
Make the layups. You don't have to make a spectacular Sports Center play every time. If he can get into Caleb's head, play on time, throw the ball when that back foot hits, receiver's gonna be there, throw it to him. If he does that, the Bears will be phenomenal. If he's still playing hero ball and holding on to the ball and waiting for the receiver to come open before he throws him open, they're gonna be mediocre. So it's really dependent on him. But I think he's got the right coach. The coach has built up that offensive line. If they can stay healthy and gel, he's got the right players on the offensive line. He definitely has the skilled players, and the defense was good. They may take a step back because they lost Eberflus, but the defense was good. They've got great players over there. He's got to play on time. He's got to play on time. If Caleb Williams does not play on time,
it doesn't matter.
You might start thinking about the B word, but it's only 2 years in. But
the Bears.
The excuses are gone now for Caleb Williams.
The Bears. He has that. Well, he had more than most rookies last year too. But
the excuses are gone. So now it's on him, and he's got to make the layups. And people say, "What do you mean, like
the basic
layup?
The basic stuff. You ain't got to be flashy.
You got the basics.
You got the basics.
The touch passes, the 5-yard out, the screens. Are you sliding up in the pocket instead of trying to escape out the back door every time?
Not getting sacked.
Those are the things that I need without giving up sacks. He got sacked 63 times last season. 63. So if he slides up in the pocket and delivers the ball instead of trying to run out the back door and run into a sack, then they'll have a shot. But if he has those old bad habits start popping back up, they're not going to do anything. And then they're going to be like, do we have the right guy? And they're going to start questioning the fact that did they draft the right guy? The good news is he's on a rookie contract, so you can correct that mistake if that's the case. But
the Bears, they won't. They'll go to somebody worse. I think they're cursed.
Here's my other prediction. The Anthony Richardson era in Indianapolis is over.
So you think he's gonna lose to Daniels?
Yes. Because he doesn't play. He's still trying in the mode of trying to out-athlete quarterback.
But you can't do that, and it's basically the same thing with Caleb. He needs the basics, and he's not trying to do the basics. He's been hurt too much to be consistent.
You can't out athlete quarterback, and even Lamar Jackson figured that out. For the first couple of years, he was out athleting because he was the best athlete on the field.
Yeah, he was.
He has the ability to do that.
But
Anthony Richardson showed flashes of that, but he's not good as good as Lamar.
But then he stay hurt. Then he stay hurt.
And he stayed hurt, right? Because he was bigger and stronger. So Lamar knew, hey, I'm gonna slide, I'm gonna get in there because he wasn't that big. Anthony Richardson, 6'4", 240. So he thought he was big enough, so he would put himself in harm's way, and he got hurt. He cannot out athlete, and I would tell kids when I was coaching them at 8 years old, I don't care how great an athlete you are, there's going to be a point where you can't out athlete the game, and you got to learn how to play it. So my job is to teach you how to play the game. Your job is to learn how to play the game, not out athlete it. Because at some point the game's going to catch up to you. There's only been a few guys, and even then, when their athleticism started waning, they lost their ability. Chad Johnson, I was talking about this the other day. Chad Johnson was out athleting the game, and then the game caught up to him. Ocho Cinco, I love him, but the game caught up to him. What was the boy's name in Dez Bryant? He was out athleting the game.
I like Dez. I like Dez actually.
I like Dez too.
I like Dez, even though he played for the Cowboys. I actually like Dez.
Dumb as a box of rocks.
I like Dez.
Did not understand the game.
I saw him at the Super Bowl walking down the street.
So, and I love Dez Bryant. And I'm not trying to be mean, and I know that came across as being mean, but you can see the guys and I think to a certain extent, Terrell Owens out athleted the game.
I was a fan of T.O. too.
Right. Thank you. Your brother is even agreeing with me. Dez is men. Yeah.
I like
Dez. And when he was younger, he was good.
He was good. He was.
He had a good, Romo was throwing the ball. He was out there just being an athlete. Throw it up, Dez go get it. When you tell Dez how to read coverages and know what's going on, I don't think he knew what was going on out there.
I agree with you there, but I still like
he was just running his spots. So you can't do that. So I think we'll see. There's some great storylines this year, I think, but I do think Daniel Jones is going to win the starting job in Indianapolis, and I think because that coach Shane Steichen is trying to keep his job.
Sure, yeah,
and he's like, what's going to be the best product, Anthony? Do I want to be? Thank you. Do I want to be? This is what the head coach in Indianapolis is going to wrestle with every night. Do I want my quarterback to be in the top 5 on SportsCenter's top 10 plays?
Well, we want to win games.
Or do I want to be competitive and try to win games?
He's trying to keep it. He needs to win games and keep his job.
And Daniel Jones is a guy that's going to keep y'all competitive, keep them competitive, and try to win games. Anthony Richardson is going to make some highlight plays, but he's not.
Don't get hurt early in the season.
Get hurt, and he's not going to win games. So, and Shane Steichen is trying to prove himself as a coach. So Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback there. I think Miami is not going to be as good this year. People have figured out Tua, and they're so worried about him getting hurt.
And they lost some players.
And people have figured out Mike McDaniel's kind of style. I like him, but he's going to have to come up with a new gimmick. And so, I think Miami's going to take a step back this year. What do you
think the Jets going to do next year? The same? Better? Worse?
The Jets are the one that causes me conflict because my heart is trying to overrule my head. I want Justin Fields to do well. I want the head coach to be successful.
But
there's not a lot of evidence showing that that's going to happen. Justin Fields on his third team to all of a sudden explode. The likelihood of that happening is very low.
True. In their division.
They've got good running backs. good receivers. They just
they're good defense, but they got
they got a good defense. But I don't know if Justin Fields. They're going to have to have a good offensive coordinator that's going to scheme some receivers open. If the offensive coordinator can scheme some receivers open, then Justin Fields has a shot. Because when Justin Fields sees a receiver open, he can get him the ball.
So who's the OC for the Jets?
I have no idea. That's the problem.
So who is the OC for the Jets?
I
know last year it was Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah, because
they fired this guy.
I'm looking it up now. Tanner Engstrand?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so he got brought over from Detroit. He was the passing game coordinator from Detroit.
Well, he might be decent.
Engstrand replaces Nathaniel Hackett, who was terrible. So Tanner, I don't even like the fact that his name is Tanner. I don't trust.
He might be decent. He come from Detroit, though.
I can't trust it. This
he might be
name is Tanner. Okay, Tanner Engstrand, the passing game coordinator from Detroit, is not the offensive coordinator. So we'll see. We'll see.
I hope they do okay. Hope they do better than Miami in the Patriots.
I think they'll be better than Miami. I'm not sure about the Patriots because Patriots have a good coach. The quarterback looks good, and they're starting to put some players around him. So if he continues to mature, I think the Patriots are going to sneak. I think the Patriots are going to win some games that you don't expect them to win this year. I think they'll probably be 6 or 7 wins. Maybe 8 if depending upon like what week they play a team. It's a lot of it. Some of it's determined by do you play them at home or on the road, and do you play them early versus late. Those are the kind of things that determine like wins and losses a lot more than just is your team better.
That's true.
So if I would say I would put the Patriots somewhere on the low end 6, on the high end 9 games, 6 or 9 games, and it depends on the schedule, how their schedule lays out. I haven't looked at it, so anywhere between 6 and 9, and they'll take a step forward because they've got a good coach that understands how to win games, and he won with not a lot of talent.
In Tennessee.
Yeah, so you give him some talent. You never know what Vrabel can do. So, veteran coach, owner that doesn't meddle. We'll see what kind of talent they can put around the quarterback, but it looks like they got that quarterback. So we'll see. But I think the Patriots will be better than Miami. I think Miami will probably be the 4th team in this division. The Patriots and Miami, I think, are going to be the 2 lowest, and I think the Jets will probably. I think the Bills are going to.
The Bills got an easy schedule, and they got an easy schedule. They don't even have to travel.
The rest of the division are going to be somewhere between 9 and 6, like in terms of wins, and it just depends on when they play each other, how they play against each other, blah blah blah. I think. My hope is it's like Bills, Jets, Patriots, Dolphins. That's what I would like to see. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's Bills, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins. I don't think the Dolphins are going to win that much this year. I don't have a lot of faith in them.
You have a lot of faith in Tua and McDaniels. I like Tua, but I don't have faith in him either.
I think Tua is a great person. I like him as a person. I don't think he should be playing football. I think
he should have retired after that last concussion.
So the term for those of you watching, this is not the thing you got to write down. The term what you saw on the field is called fencing. The fencing is like you see it in boxers more than you see in football players. You get a head injury, you get hit hard, and your body locks up. That stiffen. That's what it's called. It's fencing, and that's indicative of a head injury. And so, when you see that more than once from a football player, and you understand,
it's scary.
Yes, the speed and the violence with which this game is played.
And it keeps getting faster and faster.
Yes. These guys are getting bigger.
And the guys are bigger and bigger and faster.
Like bigger, stronger, faster does not mean less injuries. It means, yes, and they're making a concerted effort about head injuries. You know, they had sued to figure that out.
But
they're getting more concerned about that.
But it's still a violent game, no matter how many.
It's still violent. You can't.
How many. You know, you can't touch the quarterback. You can't do this. It's still a violent
game. Even
game.
with the kickoff stuff, they're still getting injured, and it's a quarterback.
It's a violent game.
And there's not a defensive end on the planet that is not going to take their shot if they're coming on that blind side and they got that quarterback in their crosshairs. Or they're going to bust them.
That's what they get paid to do. That's why they make the money.
And they're going full speed, and they're 275, 280 pounds. And they're running 4.3, 4.4. This is taking back to high school physics. Force is mass times acceleration, right?
Yeah.
Is that the right formula? Yeah. Force is mass times acceleration. You got all that mass with great acceleration. Your force ratio is going to go up significantly.
You're in trouble.
And that's trouble when you have a little dude playing quarterback.
True. And when you hold on to the ball too long and have a better line.
Right? Yeah. So, and that's why they love Justin Herbert, because he's 6'6", big, and he can take those hits. And he gets up.
But they don't win games.
But they're like, but he's going to be on the field for 17 of those games. Right?
Well, he got hurt. He missed a couple
of games
last year's ankle or...
It was it was an ankle. But yeah, so we got to do better. All right, switching to the last subject. So I got
WNBA.
WNBA All-Star game was this weekend. The ratings have been going up. The popularity of the game has been going up. I went to my first live WNBA game here in Atlanta about a week or so ago. We went to watch them play the Valkyries. It was fantastic. Down early, came back, won the game. The Dream won the game. Brittany Griner is 6'9" tall. That's incredible. To see a woman that tall. It's crazy to see. And so lot that I loved about the game. Just really good atmosphere. Small arena, but understanding it, and that's the issue.
Small arena, they have less games.
Fewer games. So at the All-Star game in the warm-up, they all wore these T-shirts that says "Pay us what you owe us," because right now they're in negotiations for a new contract. It's called collective bargaining, where the league and the Players Association bargain. They say, "How are we going to split up the money?" Right. So the players are pushing for greater revenue share, more salaries, a higher floor in terms of your minimum salary, and then you want the top salary to be able to go up so players can make more money. Cool. I'm not even mad at them. That's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. However, the factors that I'm saying from a league perspective is this league has been getting bailed out financially by the NBA because they've been losing money. Mm-hmm. This year is the first year where they are probably.
And then they got that new TV deal too. So
they got a new TV deal, and the boom from the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese feud coming into the league really, and then Caitlin Clark, let's call it what it is, being a white player that is from the Midwest, that is shown to have some skill, has infused majority culture's interest in the game, and it has taken it to the next level, right? And so all of those factors, you can pick which one you think is most important, but they all kind of go into the pot that has increased the popularity, revenue. Yeah. They went from flying commercial to flying charter. All of these things, they're playing in bigger arenas. Some of that's the Caitlin Clark.
They're getting some expansion teams in the works.
Expansion teams to bring more revenue to the game because they got to buy those franchise fees and all the revenues are going up. However, that's one season.
But I think it's going to trend. Do they need to make 50% like the NBA? I don't think so, but I think it should go up though.
It should go up, but I don't want them to overplay their hand after 20 plus seasons, because WNBA has been around for a minute, of losing money, playing in the red, and where the players had to go overseas in order to make, reasonable money in the off season.
Yeah, Russia.
Now you have one good season, and now you want to start making. You can't make NBA money. Let's
No, you can't, because they don't bring in that much money.
They don't bring in that much money.
And
so
yeah, but should they have the same percentage? I still don't think they should, because they get 50%.
They should get more, but the owners that have stayed with these teams even after losing money, let them get whole a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not.
See, they gotta get it while it's hot, while it's collective bargaining. So it's like that's when you.
And that's why I'm kind of sad in the fact that like collective bargaining is happening this year. I wish it would have happened in like 2 years of this. 2 years of showing it's trending in the right direction. 2 years of them getting that TV revenue. 2 years of the apparel sales going up and attendance going up. 2 years of really seeing these numbers. Like, 1 year could be a fluke. Let's give it 2 years. Now it's like, they're striking while it's hot, so I'm not hating on the players.
Yeah, I mean that's what you got to do. But what percentage should you think they should have of the revenue share compared to, say, the NBA?
It's tough, because if I'm being honest, when I was watching the game live there in the arena, I enjoyed it. I had a great experience. I stayed to the end because it was exciting all the way to the end. There is still a skill deficit between the NBA and the WNBA.
Yeah.
And so when you start putting in this, like there are a few players that are very athletic and very skilled, and some players are like, okay, you here because you're big, right? not because you're skilled. They have to work on that, and I think that's happening just in a natural course as the game is more popular. The girls that are playing basketball now are working on their skill set, right? And so much like the NBA in the 70s and 80s was much more physical.
Yeah, now it's a little bit more finesse.
Yeah, you didn't have center shooting 3-pointers like they do now. So like the NBA has become more skilled. So I'm like, just in a natural progression of the game, now that it's really popular, the girls are going to be much more skilled, much like in soccer and so on and so forth, right? So that's going to happen. I think it's just, that's why I was like, ooh, if this had been 3 or 4 years of this, I'd be banging the drum for 50%.
I don't think they need 50%.
But they don't need 50%. No. Maybe. And I think T-shirt was.
And then I think they should have. I mean, if they go up on, say, revenue share, I think they should have more games. Because I mean, like the NBA plays 82 games. I mean, compared to how many games do they play?
Absolutely, and they're caught in a weird space because their season starts right after the college basketball season. Mm-hmm. So the college players are getting drafted 2 or 3 weeks after.
Yeah, and then they
got to go right into a season. Right. So that's why you see the injuries. You see, Caitlin Clark is getting injured now. Paige Beck, so there's no drop off. But this is the best time for them to have their season. This time,
no competition because there's no. I mean, it's baseball, but other than that,
because the fall is dominated by football, college and pro.
College
you can't people don't realize that NBA starts in October.
Yeah, because people really, I mean, the true basketball people watch.
January.
I don't, because NBA lasts.
February. Yeah. That's when people start
the playoffs.
All-Star game. All-Star game is when.
Yeah, February. But April is when people like the playoffs.
All-Star game is really when April is when it really picks up. But most people start the basketball
after football season is over.
After football season.
Beginning of
Sports
February.
But the basketball season starts in October. Just FYI.
Yeah, and they used to dominate Christmas before the NFL took over the day. Used to watch. That's the day I watched basketball. In the winter was Christmas until NFL took over.
Christmas Day, right? And then NFL took that over, right?
Yes.
They took that from them. And then
All-Star game.
game, but I
And
don't.
then
The All-Star
playoffs
game
come.
is terrible, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, but I see the game itself. I like some of the skills, the dunk contests and the 3-point.
But I watch it. I really pick up NBA.
And I like the celebrity game.
Late February, early March is when I pick up NBA, and that's how I watch it. Because I like basketball, so I watch it then. But I don't watch it like as close as I do football. Football, I'll sit down. I'll watch a whole game start to finish. Like I get mad if I'm there at kickoff.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
NBA, I may pick it up.
You don't really, because the game don't really get good if it's a close game until the last quarter anyway. Yeah, if it's a good game,
I'll slide in State Farm about mid first quarter, start.
And like me, I don't like being in boxes at football games. I like to be with the people close to the field. Basketball, I can be in the box and just chill, then watch the game.
Football, the powers that be has the game itself lends itself to be popular just because it has built-in urgency. You've only got 17 games, so there is more.
They mean more.
Ride or die. A loss or a win. Right? Yeah. A bad loss, you're crushed for a whole week. A good win, you're
especially if it's a division game.
Yeah, but NBA, you lose on Tuesday night, you got a back-to-back. You on Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's why they rest. They had to rest so much too.
Baseball's the same way.
Too many games.
Too many games. But you go with football once a week, even college. This game.
Oh yeah, college. You got to win. A little less now since they had a playoff. I mean, like before, you lose one game, you just out of it all. You can lose one game.
Ask Alabama that. Alabama was hurt. They make the playoffs. They looking sideways at Caleb DeBoer. Right or wrong?
Right or wrong. See, the problem with when in the NIL age, the SEC can't compete with the Big Ten because they're like what SEC don't have all that money down in South rural areas versus say Oregon and Texas Texas got money, but the rest of the SEC their pockets ain't thick. Like
here's the issue. Here's the thing. The one thing that the SEC has over any of those other schools that are out of the SEC that are geographically out of the SEC, they got the players.
They do now, but now it's being. I think with NIL, it's being more. It's dispersing some of the people.
But remember, because of NIL, the top players are going. Yeah, the top players can go to Oregon. They can go to Texas. They can go get that bigger check. But now, because they're doing that, because the top talent is more dispersed, you got to fill out the rest of your roster. So if you got a backup, if you need a backup tight end, a backup offensive lineman that's not going to make a lot of NIL money, you're more likely to find one in Georgia, Florida.
No, I agree with that.
Texas, Louisiana, Alabama than you are in Nebraska. Nebraska, but in Oregon and these smaller states. So they're more likely to stay closer to home so their family can see them play versus going cross country to be a backup. So that's where I think the SEC still has, and ACC to a certain extent, still has a competitive edge. It's not the top level, it's that second level. The guys that are coming off the bench, if you got an injury, can you fill that space with somebody that is comparable to the person that got hurt? And I think that's where you're going to see NIL. But it takes good coaching and good scouting to do that. Whereas like Alabama back in the day, Nick Saban showed up at your school, you're signing.
Which is Nick, yeah. But like
now you got it. And because I remember when we were in college, Florida State had 5-star. You had to sit for 2 years, and you were a 5-star guy, but you sat for 2 years because once you got on the field of Florida State, you were going to go pro, and that was the thing.
That was.
So nobody really cared about being. Miami was the same way. Nobody really cared about not playing for 2 years because all I need is 1 or 2 good years, and I'm good. I'm going to be a first-round draft pick because that's how good those players were from Florida. Now it's like.
Now they're not. Yeah, Florida, Miami, and Florida, not so much.
And the coaches that they have been hiring at Florida State, and Miami, Cristobal might turn around Miami, but Florida and Florida State, They don't understand it.
They should hire Dion.
Dion would have been able to recruit in state. He would have got
yeah. Oh yeah. They would have had Travis Hunter.
He had Travis. Yeah, he got Travis Hunter.
They would have had. I mean, Florida State would have had Travis Hunter, not Jackson State.
They would. Yeah. So I think we'll see. I hope that the ACC finds a way to rebound. You know, Belichick might infuse some life. We'll see.
I don't think he's gonna do much.
I don't think so either. But we'll see. He'll make it at least interesting. We'll see if Clemson.
I think is gonna have a good year.
And we'll see if Florida State doesn't have a quarterback. It's going to get real.
Florida State, I'm not really too much.
In Tallahassee,
Texas,
real ugly.
Clemson, LSU.
I think LSU.
How do you think Penn State gonna be this year? Penn State, Notre Dame.
I don't like I'm not as big high on the Penn State quarterback as everybody else is. That's another one of those quarterbacks that they keep talking about how he's a potential first-round draft pick, and I don't see it. And so, and quite frankly, even though I love Coach Franklin, he has not won a big game, and so I don't trust him in the big games. So he's got to win a big game.
What about Ohio State? So they lost the coordinators and their quarterback.
I think
Chip Kelly had the best job. How are you gonna be as a Raiders?
See, but I don't think Will Howard was a big loss at Ohio State. I think what he's got to what Coach was it Day.
Yeah.
I think Coach Day has to figure out is how to get his team to refocus on the next season and not keep letting people pat them on the back and tell them how great they are, right? And that's the hardest thing, especially for younger guys that are more immature, to get them to refocus and say, okay, this is a new season. Like I don't have any problem with the Eagles doing that. I think the Eagles have the right leadership in the GM and the head coach and the quarterback. They'll be able to refocus. I got to see if Coach Day can do that.
But see, I don't. But they lost stuff. Like the coordinators, that matters in college, actually.
It does, but college is more about players, and if you have a quarterback that's worth a damn, right? And so that's the thing. So if the quarterback is worth a damn, the head coach is the head coach is basically your offensive coordinator because it's his offense that they're running. So, well, now he is. I think Chip Kelly had more say about it. And
I think he did too. I think he's better for college. I don't think he's great in the NFL, but I'm biased because he ruined my Eagles.
Yeah, I think he has a college coaching style that doesn't really translate to the NFL.
So how you think the Raiders are going to be this year?
I think the Raiders are going to be terrible.
About the same? Worse?
Worse. Because the Chargers are getting better. The Broncos are obviously getting better, and the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And you've got Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, would he be better than the last quarterback? I don't think Geno's the problem. I think the team itself is the problem. The owner.
And I don't like Bo Nix, but I think Bo Nix is going to have a better
I think the Raiders' problem is not Geno. It's the owner. I mean, it's multifactorial.
And I think Pete Carroll is playing yesterday's game, and the game has changed.
Well, I agree. I think
he's not the only coach that's doing that.
I mean, I think the Raiders' defense may be, but I mean, you got to have offense to win games. And I mean, Max Crosby. Who else do they have though? But I mean,
they drafted Ashton Gentry, who was the best running back allegedly. And
that's one position.
But if your offensive line is not good, and Pete Carroll has not always had a great offensive line. And Geno Smith he needs to have a great offensive line because Geno Smith is somebody he's better with play action. And so you have a good running back. But if that running back is getting stuck because the offensive line can't block for him, then play action doesn't work. So there's a lot when there's too many things that have to go right in order for a team to be successful. That's when I lose faith in them. The offensive line has to play good. The defense has to stay healthy. Geno Smith needs to be able to run play action. Ashton Gentry has to hit as a rookie. There's all the things that have to go well in order and that's all I'm like, no. And all these other teams, they have more variability in terms of what has to go well. Chargers, they just need to have basically Justin Herbert stay healthy and get an option at wide receiver, and they'll be fine because they are building that team to be good. The Broncos showed you last year, one of the top 5 defenses in the league.
Oh yeah, their defense is
getting better at quarterback and getting better on the offensive side of the ball. And the Chiefs,
Chiefs are the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are the Chiefs, and after getting their ass handed to them, they realized, hey, we've got to get this offensive line taken care of. So they spent that draft pick on the offensive line, and from all the pundits are saying they stole him because he was hurt, and so he dropped to them, that offensive lineman, because he was hurt his last year. But they think he was the best offensive lineman in the draft.
We'll see
so
how he does.
If he heals and plays like to his potential, they may have something. They may have short up their line, and then Patrick Mahomes could be Patrick Mahomes. So that's why I'm like the Raiders are going to be 4th in the league and Pete Carroll is, and then you still got a bad owner, and I don't know who the GM is with the Raiders, but you still got a bad owner.
Yeah, you do.
So that's why I don't have any faith in the Raiders at all.
You do, and then still paying the last 2 coaches. I'll
tell you when I'm gonna have faith in the Raiders, when the owner stops having that bowl cut, whatever the fuck he's wearing on his head. When he changes his hairstyle, that's when I'll believe in the Raiders.
You really? That's when you believe him?
Yeah. That says, hey, he's willing to change and he's willing to do something that's like modern. That's worth it. Like, because that bowl cut, that screams 80s.
Hey.
And he got too much money to be walking around with that bowl cut looking like he's a special needs person. I'm just saying.
Stop it.
Saying.
Well.
He looks like a special needs kid.
It's not nice.
I hate to say that. So that's it for today. I gotta jump off, but
I gotta do some work.
We're excited.
All right, 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks, what'll be what?
In 2 weeks, we're gonna be in the middle of training camp season. We're gonna be coming up on the
2 weeks. It's what day? It's my birthday.
Today's the 21st, so it's 22. We're gonna be in August. So that'll be
August the 4th.
Yeah, so we're gonna be in the middle of training camp, and we're gonna.
I call August tease football because we start a little preseason. Yes, training camp, preseason. Preseason games.
Yeah, if you don't watch the first,
Hall of Fame game, it'll be the week after that. It'll be usually the weekend of my birthday, so it'll probably be the 9th, which is
So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, that's what we're looking at. So yeah, 2 weeks, we'll catch up. We'll see what's happening with the WNBA. We'll see what's happening with the sports. The baseball season will start shaping up a little bit more. Nobody's really caring. And then we'll see.
We'll see. The Cubs are doing pretty well.
There's some teams that are playing well. We'll see. We'll take a look. We might just peek at the standings. Baseball.
Yeah, Braves are usually pretty good.
The Braves are terrible this year.
They're terrible this year. Wow.
Oh my God.
No, usually pretty good. Them and the Phillies.
They're usually pretty good. The Phillies are still in contention. The Braves are hot garbage.
That's interesting.
When you ask the pundits now, and they say, "Who's the biggest disappointment this year?" They say the Atlanta Braves. That the Braves got too cheap.
Oh, after they won.
After they won, and they started again, and I said this to somebody, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna write that down." I said, "When everything has to go right for you to be successful, that's a problem." That's the way I feel like what the Raiders are banking on, everything having to go right. And the Braves wanted everything to go right. Everybody had to have a career season. Everybody had to, and like when you do that, that's when you have problems. And they are playing terribly. Like it's hard to watch. And I have not gone, and I'm normally by this time of the season, I've gone to like 5 or 6 games. I've not.
Well, one good thing of when your team sucks, the tickets usually go down.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I looked at tickets. I've looked at tickets, But I'm like, but then I won't pull the trigger on them, and then I'll check the box score the next day, and they lost the game, and I'm like, I would have been mad as hell. And some of them they lost to like bums, or they lost late. They had a lead and they gave it up late. I would be losing my mind, you know. And I'm like, especially if I'm gonna pay that kind of price for good seats, and then watch them lose. Oh Lord have mercy. I do that. I only have to do that once a week during football season when the Falcons have their brain parts. I cannot, but
All right, Ellis.
I'm a full-on fan, man. I try to stay dispassionate because when I feel passionate about it, I get real upset.
No, I can understand.
Yeah,
I can understand. I get upset. Well, when I get upset, I think my nerves just get bad, especially watching the game. Oh my God, watching the game with me is gonna be stressful. Yeah.
A lot of times I either watch it at home, like the way
I do too. I'll go watch other teams when I don't care who wins.
Yeah, because I mean, I got season tickets, so like I go to the games for the Falcons, so that's an adventure, and the people that sit around me know how I get down, and then the away games, I either watch them at home or I'll go to a sports bar where like I know the bartender and like there's a group of us that we kind of sit there because they know how I get down. Like I can't like watch it around strangers or a lot of people that don't understand the game because then I get mad because I get frustrated. I'm like, they think they see something that's good and I'm like, do you not understand what's happening right now on the screen? They're losing the game. Like, no, he's not. He just got a pass. I'm like, okay, please shut up from talking to me. Like, so I typically watch the games at home because I don't want to be disrespectful and cause fights. So. But last thing, shout out to I'm wearing my KSU Owls, Kennesaw State University Owls shirt.
Is that where your son's going? That's where your son going, right?
This is where my son is going. He's going to be running track. He's going to be a triple jumper there at Kennesaw State. He's got a schedule and he's getting his housing and
congratulations.
Moving into the athletes dorm here in the next.
Is he excited?
Excitement is building. You know. It's becoming real now, you know, when you get your schedule and they're talking about this and that. So it's getting real. I think we're all excited to see what that next level is and see where his career, his athletic career goes. And so we're expecting even bigger things because he was only 17 and just kind of growing into his body. He's still growing into his body. So it'll be really interesting to see how he continues to develop over these next few years. And so, yeah, I love the fact that he's track because it's a spring and it's a late winter and spring sport and spring summer sport. So it's not gonna, you know, football season is gonna be unencumbered with track meets. Like when he was playing baseball, we had to go to fall baseball. This year, so I would miss a lot of college football games going to fall baseball tournaments because it'd be like Saturday and Sunday.
Sunday, yeah,
the whole weekend. So now it's like, oh, you know, the indoor season starts in January, and then outdoor season football is completely over. So I'm good. And he's a triple jumper, so it's like the jumping events are typically early in the meet. So
you don't have to be out there all day like some people.
No. High school, oh my God, he was Mr. Everything. Like he was doing the triple jump, long jump. He was running 100, 200, 400, 4x1, 4x4. He'd be there all day.
All day. Be the first event, the last event.
Oh my God, they were like packing lunches and everything. So yeah, so now it's just going from one event. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, so we're excited and really, really proud of him in the fact that he was able to, you know, because statistically, it's hard to get to play that next level. You know, there's a lot of high school athletes, and then to make it, and not only to make it to the next level, but to get a scholarship, to have somebody say, "We want you to come and play for us." I think that's a big thing, and I really, in my heart of hearts, I think he's only scratched the surface of his ability. And so I'm really excited to see what he can do with being fully focused on triple team. So, but that's proud dad, you know.
All right, it's all good. It's all good.
I gotta get my gear, and it's easy to wear because, of course, it's black and gold. So it's easy to wear. I don't have to worry about some foolishness. So yeah, KSU Owls, go Owls. All right, y'all. We'll holler at y'all.
All right.
We'll see y'all in
Have
2
a
weeks.
good one.